Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome this lovely almost noon. Here she comes, one of the stars of the show. Main reason we're here to service dog audits. We're going live today in the basement because I don't have anywhere to go. We're on the cusp of having the Eagle make its deposit from Uncle Sam, Uncle Sam's Eagle. When the Eagle takes a poop, you get data in your account if you're a disabled veteran. I'm on the rocking chair because, rocking is comfortable. A lot of my friends out there with autism and Asperger's will tell you rocking is a really soothing thing to do. I, as you know, 22 minus 1, that is in reference to suicide, veteran suicide awareness. That's how I kind of started to create this page. I have a tattoo on the side of my arm that's 22 with a semicolon, but it's a little cold today, so I wanted to wear my favorite shirt here. You know, says Michigan, the Great Lakes state, and it's got all the names of the lakes, and then on the bottom here it says unsalted and shark free. My most favorite reasons for living in the Great Lakes. So what's Service Dog Audits about? Service Dog Audits is basically um, I got a friend messaging me on Messenger right now. So he doesn't I don't know if he follows my channel, so he doesn't know if I'm live or not. But to all my other friends and family out there. So what is Service Dog Audits going to be? Well, I'm going to be posting content, but I don't want to be confrontational, right? Because if you're confrontational, then you don't make a lot of friends, right? So, I posted some angry stuff on Facebook when the incident happened to me. And I was angry because I didn't understand the recourse that I could take um, to advocate for myself when I get discriminated in restaurants, stores, any location that someone says, "I'm not going to serve you because I don't believe your service dog is your service dog," or "I don't even know what service dogs are. You have a dog in my store. The health department or this regulating body says your dog isn't allowed in my store. Get it out." This is to educate so that more people understand that when someone says they have a service dog and they can identify what they need that service dog for, and the dog is behaving and acting like a working companion animal, right? A service dog is a companion that provides a task or a function for the person. And as I alluded to in a video I posted earlier, um, is I have triggers that I don't even realize I have when I'm just driving in traffic. Like part of my service dog awareness is also to educate the uh, the people at large, the public, those that don't know, help them know that for a veteran like me with my disability, which is post-traumatic stress from combat, um, she helps me be a nice guy because without her in the past, without service dogs, I've been a raging fucking lunatic. I've been horrible and mean to people. Now, that being said, when someone has a service dog with them, you shouldn't go up to them like let's say you're in a store and you're buying something and you see the most beautiful dog you've ever seen in your life, in your opinion, whatever that looks like to you in your head, what's the signifier? You see this gorgeous dog and you see a person attached to that dog in a store that you would normally not see a dog, right? You got to resist everything in your brain from even approaching that person. Unless, if you want to say hello in passing, hello, nice looking dog, totally acceptable. But when you when you ask the person, "Can I pet your dog?" When you just go up and pet the dog, you might be, because if that service dog is also trained to protect the handler, you might find yourself in a boatload of trouble. Now, that being said, it's really uncomfortable for a person with a service dog to have somebody come up to them and be like, "Oh, your dog's really beautiful. Oh, can I pet your dog? Oh, she's so well behaved. He's so well behaved. Oh, like we get that 30 or 40 times a day. And we don't want that. All we want to do is go in the store, buy our stuff, and, like have the dog. Now, that being said, for the most part, I'm on a good day. I'm okay, right? But I've had days where people are actually working for the establishment and come up to me and say, "Oh, she's so pretty. I can't resist. Can I just pet her?" No, fuck off. I haven't asked you for help. I haven't asked you for anything. This is why the show isn't for kids, by the way, too. Because I'm a combat vet. Swear words just come off my head like freaking smoke out a stack. So, like it's nerve wracking. Imagine if somebody walked up to you and was like, "Oh, your kid's so cute. Can I pet your kid?" Or, "Oh, that tool is so cool that you use to do your job. Can I pet your?" I don't know. Like, you know, she's a tool for me. She helps me get around. She's not a dog park dog. You know, I play enough fetch and do enough cool stuff as you've seen on YouTube with her. Um, she helps me be nice to everybody. However, it's tough when you go in a restaurant and they immediately say, "Oh, uh, you can't have the dog here," and you say, "Well, actually, this is my service dog. I need her to be in here. Can I order some food now?" And they're like, "No, get out. Dogs aren't allowed. I don't fucking care. I don't believe you." And I'm just like, then my buttons are getting pushed because as a veteran, when people call me a liar, you know, and they don't know the questions and I know the questions and I know the law, I start getting angry. And then she starts kind of giving me cues like, "All right, like, fuck this lady, let's leave." And I'm like, "No, I need to stand up for myself." So, in the process of getting rejected by things, one of my buddies, the Don Juan, I'm not going to say his whole name on here, but the Don Juan, he also has a service dog, but he was in law enforcement, so he understands civil rights, how to use your civil rights, and so on and so forth. And I didn't understand this. I just got this service dog, right? So he gave me the information. It's a complaint, and it's a department in most states called the whatever your state is, Department of Civil Rights. And if you're a disabled person or if you're a person that feels they were discriminated against, you can reach out. In my case, I live in Michigan. So you can reach out to the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, right? See here, online, fill out a valid complaint of how you feel you were discriminated. And so if you have a service dog for any reason, a doctor has assigned you the prescription for this service dog, then you have a lot of power. That service dog has a lot of power through whatever civil rights organization is in your state. So I filled out a complaint, and they went to the store, the restaurant that on August 30th of 2024 was like the last straw for me. And it was like the fourth time a restaurant had just been like, "We don't believe you," and I didn't understand the recourse. And my buddy gave me the recourse, and I put in the report. And I went back 6 months later, and they got educated. The Department of Civil Rights, an agent went in, took the law in, sat down with the owners, and hopefully the owners sat down with their staff because that's what it felt like, and they knew the deal, right? Um, so I got to go to Bray's in Hazel Park, Michigan. So anybody that knows Bray's personally, you know the owners, reach out to them, tell them I'm coming through, and hopefully they got the right answer. If not, Michigan Department of Civil Rights is going to show up at your door in my behest. And now that I have like a physical legal arm that'll advocate for me on my behalf and educate the business owner how they broke the law and how to, you know, um, operate under the law. That was so easy for me. It took a lot of my anger away. Not to mention microdosing on psilocybin, another topic number day. This is the first live episode. Um, so if you ever get rejected, these are the mechanisms of society that we're able to use, right? And I'm thankful people that came up with this out of the civil rights movement and put it into our practices in our state for everybody to enjoy. And I'm sure there's other civil rights uh, departments in other states. Sarah Strange, hi. Michael, I'm the Lorax or you're the Lorax? The Don, I speak for the trees. Corbin, hi. Well, I guess I am the Lorax, but you know, I speak to the trees. Um, so service dog audits, where uh, so it's also going to be about how my service dog helps me, and if I get confronted by people, I possibly will pull out the camera to uh, protect my rights and educate these people. So I may even go live now that I have the ability to go live here on YouTube. Uh, I'm really excited for this show on my channel, which is Service Dog Audits. I'm really excited for the fun we're going to have. Um, also, check out my not live show, my short clips, which are going to be cross training. I got injured on the bike. I fell, I tea kettled, and got a nice gash on my shin. So I'm waiting for that to heal. So no jujitsu for a couple weeks. However, the second I can get on the mat, my next black belt interview is going to be with a gentleman by the name of Craig Churchill. And hopefully, if I'm lucky, hopefully also the head black belt or one of the head black belts, Mr. Ajemi over at Detroit Jiu Jitsu. I've met him once before. He's my black belt, and real great guy, great depth of knowledge, and I'm looking and sharing in the Jiu Jitsu experience. Um, Probably around April 2nd or so, just due to the fact that uh, we are coming up on the Eid of Ramadan. To all my Muslim friends out there, Ramadan Mubarak. I hope you're having a powerful fasting. Um, and that food tastes extra delicious when the sun goes down. So basically, um, you know, there's not a lot of people to roll with and train with at Detroit Jiu Jitsu right now because there's Ramadan going on, right? However, once the Eid comes through, then then there's going to be a lot of people there, and so I'm looking forward to that. Um, I'm not trying to take my service dog in the jujitsu gym because jujitsu has helped me use her a lot less. Jujitsu has helped me start to create this channel and see things more clearly. So, you know, I I I will most likely not have her with me when I do the jujitsu stuff because I don't want to create any more tension than there already is going to be. And I've come to love jujitsu so much and understand the power of the jujitsu gyms, Muay Thai gyms, other martial arts, Krav Maga included. Hey man, they're legit. Anyways, um, just to like, I hate to use this word. It's such a safe place for everyone, right? Um, it, these are places where politics and all the stuff you're going through, you leave it outside and you just focus on the task for the day. And and so um, so I because it's a place of consensual violence, and as a combat veteran, that's really fun to me. Uh, I I I I leave her in the truck if it's not too hot, and if it's too hot out, then I leave her at home in the AC, and she chills out with mama, and she gets some mama time, or she just gets some of her own time, and it's okay. She kind of likes to patrol the house. She is a German Shepherd, She still likes to be like, "Well, this is my domain. You come in here," So I haven't done any active guard training with her or protection training because uh, even before jujitsu, I didn't need any protection training. Like I've been home 20 years and haven't owned a gun, walked all over Detroit and some other grimy areas. And, wolves don't prey on wolves. So never needed a gun ever or knife ever. Barely, I lose my knives half the time. But what I did need was a service dog to walk around and be friendly to people and not be a complete and utter cunt. So I got this pretty girl over here, like she's creeping over. Where you going? Are you patrolling? Yes, you are. Was that the potty shake? Do you have to go potty? Oh, let's turn this around. Oh, she doesn't want to be on camera. She's so smart. She doesn't want to be on camera. She doesn't have to be on camera. Um, Service dog audits. What else is it going to be about? It's going to be that's essentially it. It's going to be educating people on what a service dog is and how different scenes and scenarios impact us. I may start filming when I go into the stores with her. Uh, just, you know. So why shouldn't you touch? Let's explore that. Why shouldn't you touch a service dog? Because they're performing a task for the person that's with them. And if you distract the animal from performing its task, you're distracting from the animal being able to assist the person. Imagine if the person was in a wheelchair and their animal was used to retrieve things from the shelves for them, because they couldn't, or the animal needed to help open a door or turn on a light, and you're distracting from the animal performing its function, and now this person's incapacitated because you're distracting their animal. In my case, when people come up and they just go, oh, and they reach out and she starts going towards them, I immediately pull her back and leave it and tell the people, please don't touch or distract my service dog. Looking and making eye contact with a service dog is distracting too. These dogs are highly intelligent. They have a very high emotional intelligence, especially my service dog. And they don't need to be distracted by you wanting to touch and pet them. Because again, I use her to be nice. And when you distract my dog and you touch my service dog, if you know it's a service dog, or I have an idea that you work in the medical profession, so you have a good idea of what a service and a therapy dog is and the difference, then I'm extra mean. Then I'm extra mean, especially if you say, I know that's a service dog. Well, if you know that's a service dog, I'd like to be left alone. Please leave me alone. Do not look at, touch, distract my dog because it can end up bad for you and bad for me too. My blood pressure is going to go up. I'm going to get frustrated. When I get frustrated, I'm going to get angry. And if when I get to a certain angry point, you are not gone, I'm going to have some fun. And it's not going to be fun for the receiving end. And I hate being that person. I would rather go to jujitsu and grapple for fun and have a smile on my face and hee hee ha ha. You got me in a choke, you know? Yeah. But when I'm just trying to exist in the store and be a person, now if I come up to you and I go, hey, how you doing? Oh, you know, nice to meet you. Ignore the dog. The dog isn't there. The dog is a tool. Um, let's say the person suffers from seizures. And while that person's having a seizure, you distract their dog, and then now their dog isn't performing the task. The person chokes on their tongue and dies. Worst case fucking scenario. Or let's say it's a blind guy. You distract his dog and he trips and falls and hurts his knee or whatever. Now you're responsible. Now you're responsible for assault essentially or negligence because you distracted the blind guy's dog. You see what I'm getting at here? Having a service dog for me is so helpful. I feel comfortable in places that I wouldn't feel comfortable in. Large stores, public events, even some public events I'm not too comfortable in. Uh, Shout out to U of M. Years ago, a couple of years ago, when I first got her, I went to a wrestling event. You guys asked for proof. Turns out all you had to do was ask me two questions. And when I educated myself on what do you need the service dog for, and is that a service dog, or is that a service dog, and what tasks does she perform? And then you tell them. You know, um, I'll give you another instance where it was great having her around, but difficult. If you're traveling international, make sure that the country you go to understands service dogs because it can be really difficult if you're in certain places and they just treat them like dogs. If you go to Mexico City, Guadalajara, or Monterrey in Mexico, those three big cities will recognize your service dog, but you will be required to like prove documentation because it's Mexico and there's different laws. Okay. Um, if you go to Switzerland, I'm pretty sure they have really good regulations on service dogs. My cousin, who's a lawyer, says they have good regulations on service dogs in Colombia. However, when you leave the major cities, you may have issues. Same things with wheelchairs in Latin America. They're just starting to get the idea of wheelchairs and ramps. However, there's still a lot of places where you got to navigate stairs to get there, and if you're in a wheelchair, you can't spend your money. So, I've seen people in wheelchairs that have service dogs, and they help them get around and and help them with other things. So this is a very important issue, a very important tool. Now, I'm working on my own mental health to work past not needing a service dog. Um, However, she has a task, and being a working German Shepherd, she wants to do nothing but perform that task every chance she gets. She is disappointed when I don't take her in an establishment. And half the time, sometimes I'll test myself. I'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good today. I come to this store a lot. I don't want to be hassled by other customers or people that don't know because they're like, well, why do I need to pay attention? Because there's more than enough people now with service dogs going out in public. Um, I'm also discovering that I may have to make a relationship with a personal injury lawyer to help move along accessibility for me in other places. Like the bigger ski hills, I'm pretty sure understand the compliance, the bigger resorts and whatnot. I know that, like, if I spent the money on the Epic Pass, I could go to Vail Resorts and take my big girl with me on the mountain all day long. The only thing they ask, I have like a 6 foot lead on her, right? Um, and I don't have the equipment to go backcountry skiing yet, but the second I do, I will probably go for a long hike all day to the top of a mountain and then ski down. Shit, I might even infiltrate some of the back ends in the fucking fancy resorts and then just bomb in all guerrilla style. You know what I'm saying? Buy some jackets that look a lot like their ski patrol. But I mean, I wouldn't really do anything illegal per se, but it'd be a cool protest on the ski hills that don't allow dogs, but or they say no service dogs whatsoever, which I don't think's right because under the law I should be able to even go to the local ski hill and ski with my service dog. Um, I can make friends out there, but sometimes I just want to like ski alone and having my MPC, multi-purpose canine, to go out there and ski the hills and get some practice with her would be great, so that when I can afford to go to the bigger resorts, um, she's already used to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is somewhat of a new skill for her. She is, I'm gonna have to use some food encouragement on the chairlift the first time. It's gonna have to be a little slow. It's always gonna have to be a little slower. Like it's gonna have to get slowed down for us to get on. But you know, uh, a lot of the times I don't go skiing because I just don't want to be around a junk load of people. you know. And so if I can take my dog skiing with me, it'd be so awesome. So yeah, I went to Pine Knob this year, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to stress myself out. I really do enjoy skiing, and I can push through some of my triggers. But I would have gone skiing to Boyne. I would have bought an Icon Pass or an Epic Pass or whatever, and just gone more often this winter. um, but around these local hills like Pine Knob, Mount Holly, I don't know about Brighton because I didn't go to Brighton yet. But every time I ask, like, hey, are you guys cool with service dogs on the hill? And they'd be like, no dogs on the hill. So that's probably going to be my next mission is, you know, finding ways to reach out to the owners of these small hills, or I don't know, make friends with a personal injury lawyer and maybe interview them uh, on the rights that people have with service dogs, um, or the rights that their service dogs have, um, and what in what areas does that stop? Like you wouldn't jump on a roller coaster with your dog, but you can hand your dog over to someone hold. You can't go in a riding center and have your dog in the arena because it'll spook the shit out of the horses. So you got to be able to have someone like hold your dog, or they got to have a way that you could crate your dog. Um, in those scenarios, right? So like if I'm at a ski resort and I go to the ski resort and they're like, well, no service dogs on the hill or no dogs on the hill, then do they have a kennel that I can put my dog in? Because a lot of hotels nowadays, when you take your service dog, they don't want you leaving your service dog in the room if you have to leave your dog in the room at all for any reason. Um, and I can understand why. So my question to a hotel resort then is like, if you're going to say it's too dangerous, so, oh, I knocked my camera. If you're going to say it's too dangerous for me to have a service dog on the hill, then can you offer me some sort of kennel setup for my dog or someone to watch my dog free of charge? And also, if not, do you have a kennel that I can come to throughout the day, access my canine, communicate, be with my canine for a minute, because I don't do great in large crowds. Even when I have other friends and the only time I really do okay in large crowds is with like two or more other veterans and combat veterans. And then I mean I've had moments where like it was like four or five of my other buddies and I and a chick, and we would all surround the chick, my girlfriend or another boy's girlfriend, like in a pack, and it was like a forest walking down the road. So, um, so that's basically, we covered a 30-minute general synopsis of things. If any personal injury lawyers in Michigan see this and you want to be interviewed, and we can go through um, the Americans with Disabilities Act together, maybe in a series, a series of episodes for this show. And also, in the event that there are establishments that don't want to um, adhere to the law, then we can partner up when I hit a hurdle and I need help, um, and create hopefully a symbiotic, mutually beneficial relationship where we fight for and advocate for the rights of others and myself when confronted with discrimination of our service dogs. So I have hoped everybody will enjoy this episode of Service Dog Audits. I hope it doesn't get snuffed out too much for the foul language from YouTube. And I'm looking forward to creating more content based off of um, based off of this context, which is service dog audits. I want to thank you folks today for joining me, and I'm looking forward to growing through this process and making quality content. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Okay, how do I stop? Close. Yeah, I want to end the